Hello and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video will cover 10 coin varieties to look for worth big money. Coins that you may well have, but without the variety. For instance, this Churchill Crown with a little variety worth £12,000. This old Victorian Penny, if you know what you're looking for, could be worth £40,000. And even something as simple looking as a normal 50p in your pocket, like this coin here, could be worth up to £50. So great return to look for if you know what to look for. So that's what we'll show you today, counting down 10 coin varieties. Number one, we'll start with that teased Victorian penny from the start of the video. So this is an 1882 penny as depicted here on screen. The normal version has a mintage of 7,526,400, very, very common. But the detail to look for is the letter H below the date. Here's the date, close up, and below it you see the letter H. This is for Heaton Metalworks, who produced the coins on behalf of the Royal Mint that year, and almost all of them have the H. But look at this. This is a very, very rare variety of the coin, and we can see, of course I'll zoom in now to show you better, but we can see this is a version with no H. So this one was made at the Royal Mint, who didn't make the bulk of them for circulation because they were busy that year. They did make a few though, and this recent one sold at auction in 2021 for £37,000. So with inflation, with perhaps more popularity to this coin, I would say easily £40,000 to look for that no H 1882 penny. On to variety number two. We'll come to this one, bit of a more well-known one. You may know what I'm about to say, but this is the 2011 Olympic Aquatics Swimming 50p. Here is the normal design you'll find, and notice the swimmer's face is not sort of in the water. There's no lines over the swimmer's face. The detail to look for is this one here, where we can see, and once again I'll zoom in here, there are lines over the swimmer's face. This was the original design. Some were circulated, but then they were very quickly changed to the ones that don't have it. So this is not just an insignificant design tweak, it is a very rare initial design, and the ones with this, we can see here. Here's one on the very reputable Britannia Coin Company website for basically £4,000. So that one is uncirculated, but it is a coin that is in circulation, somewhere released, and is worth, thousands and thousands of pounds. So definitely check your Olympic Aquatics 50p's for the lines over the face. On to our third variety today. It is the Churchill Crown. Like I say, I did tease this at the beginning of the video. These Churchill Crowns are very common coins indeed, and in most cases pretty valueless almost. I mean, there's no silver versions, the mintage is almost 20 million, so it's just a very, very common and low value coin. But is the big point here. There is a variety. This is the variety. Can you spot the difference? As with many of these, it's a very small detail to look out for, so you have to know what you're looking for. And it is just here. There's an ON, initials to the side of Churchill. ON for Oscar Newman, the coin's designer, and his initials here appear on a very few Churchill crowns. In fact, only 10 out of the almost 20 million, only 10 have the initials, those ones being worth £12,000. So grab your Churchill crowns and have a closer look at the design. Now then, on to number 4, and we'll return to a penny. This is a George V penny from 1922. That was the common one, here is the rare one. Did you see the difference? Well, here's the common one, and all you have to do is look at the middle prong of the trident. You see it is touching a bead, as almost all of them do. Bead, trident, touching. But here is the very rare version. If the middle prong of the trident does not touch a bead on a 1922 penny, it is very rare, and we can see here the price breakdown: £100 even in poor condition, £500 in fine, £2.5 in extremely fine, and £5,000 for an uncirculated one of these coins. So definitely have a closer look at your 1922 pennies and just have a quick glimpse and see, is the trident touching the beads? And if not, you're in luck. Now then, on to number 5. Again, this is a pre-decimal coin. This is the 1935 crown, or known as the Rocking Horse crown. This one, probably the most, the actual coin itself isn't too common, so you might not have this coin anyway. But if you do, it's, got a fairly high mintage for what it is, and it's only worth £20 to £60 or so. It's a lovely coin, good price there, but nothing, outstanding. Well, that is the normal versions. Here is the edge inscription, and notice it is stamped into the coin. So the edge inscription is incuse, that is, it goes into the coin. Here is the extremely rare variety, and the edge inscription stands out of the coin. It's sort of standing out of the rim rather than being punched in, and the ones that stand out of the rim are extremely, extremely rare. In fact, they are so rare that there are only 5 to 10 known examples with the raised edge lettering. So I don't need to tell you how rare this coin is and how valuable it is. I can tell you that it's around £5,000 as a price tag to look for if you find a raised edge lettering 1935 crown. Very rare indeed. Now on to number 6.
I have this coin here, a 1926 penny, again, a variety of this coin, not just the common date. This coin is a George V coin, and this time the obverse contains the variety, so let's zoom in on the obverse to find out what makes this coin rare or makes it common. So if we look here between the die and gra in the legend of the coin, if we zoom in there, we can see the I in the word die, if you put a line through the middle, lines up completely between 2 of the beads or teeth on the edge. This is the common version, where the I lines up between 2 of the beads, does not cross through one. On the rare variety though, the I in the word D then goes directly through a bead, so the I points directly to one of the teeth or beads on the edge, rather than pointing in between them, as the common variety does, so that on most coins it does. Now we can see if we put a comparison here between the two, the common one, the I points between the beads, and the rare one, the I points directly to the bead. So have a very close look, potentially under some magnification, and if your coin has the pointing to the bead, it can be worth £10 in poor condition, fine £100, extremely fine £300, and £600 in uncirculated grade, all for the eye pointing to a bead.
As you're seeing here, you do need some good eyesight or magnification for some of these varieties. Onwards now to number 7, and I will go now for that 50p that I teased at the beginning of the video. Now this is the Shield Designer 50p, you may recognise it, and I'm sure you do recognise it from your change, but there's a 2022 version that has a mint mark variety. Here is the normal version, the obverse we all sort of know and love, with Her Majesty the Queen there to the obverse and the date above. The mintage of this is 9.5 million, very, pretty common, almost 10 million of them, and only worth 50p, just a spendable sort of coin. But here is the variety. Notice the red circle there highlighting the mint mark, 26/22. That was the Queen's life years, 1926 to 2022. That was a memorial mark on the final year of Queen Elizabeth 50p. So to memorialise her reign, this mint mark was added, not for circulation, but it could have, of course, escaped into circulation, and is one that's worth around £50 if you come across it. So always have a little check on the obverse of 2022 50p's. On to number 8 now. We'll go for another penny. This one, a more modern one, George VI we saw there. This is a 1946 penny with a very small detail to look for. Here, that was the common one. Here is the rare one. And they're, again, very hard to spot. On the common one, after the E, there is no extra metal. This is a sort of extra metal error. That's how it should be for the common one, as we can see. But here is the rare one. And do you see it? Yes, a bit of extra metal, a bit of a dot of metal has been added accidentally after the E in the word 1 for 1 penny. A very small error, but quite a popular one with collectors, making this rare version with a dot worth £40, even in poor condition. And we can see there hundreds of pounds, right up to £750 in uncirculated grade, all because of a little dot after the E. Really goes to show you must check all your coins for these such varieties, as they can be worth lots of money. Now then, on to number 9. What's up next? It is this. This is a sovereign, so again, one that you probably don't have just lying around, but if you do have a Shield sovereign, then look out for this. It is on the 1859, as it is quite a valuable and well sought after variety for the 1859 sovereign. Now then, this one, the more normal one, is just only really worth bullion price, with a bit of a premium above the gold price, as it is a bit of an older design. But look out for the rare Ansel 1859 sovereign. What is an Ansel sovereign? Well, here is a diagram. This is, in my opinion, the hardest one of the video to identify, but essentially there's just a bit of a change to the ribbon in Victoria's hair. This diagram does help, but I think my comparison up next shows it a little bit better. So to the left is the normal one. We simply have a sort of thick ribbon behind her hair. To the right, the Ansel one, we can see there are 2 lines to the bottom of the ribbon, which essentially is what you have to look for. But if you do find it, it's worth £2,000 in a decent circulated grade, and up in a higher grade worth £14,000, considerably above gold price, so detail certainly to look for on that coin. Number 10 is a bit of a variety mixed with an error. I thought I'd throw it in there as it's a very popular one in the collecting world, and of course every error is essentially a variety by definition, but this is the famous Lord Kitchener Mule Error, or essentially, as I say, it is a variety of the coin, as all errors are. Here is the common one. Look to the obverse below the Queen's portrait, it says £2. This one does not. This is the easiest one to spot. Simply look to the Queen's portrait side, look below her portrait. If it does not say £2, it is a Mule Error, very rare error variety, very popular error variety, and it is worth a whopping £1,700 for a coin that you could simply get in your change at the local shop. Again, well worth looking for, as is everything in this video. Comment below if you have any of these errors. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, all the good stuff. Goodbye for now.